Hi guys, thanks for tuning in to another episode of Nuggets News. Today I'm on tour in Perth. We've had a chance to visit Power Ledger and Bitcar, and now we're with the DigitalX CEO Lee Travers. So thanks for coming on, Lee.
Nugget, great to meet you, and yeah, fantastic to be on the program.
So Lee and I have obviously had a few conversations over the years. We've both been in the crypto space, and the landscape's certainly changed over the years, mate. So I guess DCC's even rolled with the punches and pivoted somewhat. Do you want to talk about that?
Yeah, definitely. Obviously had a lot of experience in the blockchain ecosystem, originally starting out life as a major Bitcoin miner. We're involved heavily in the trading side of things, both from a proprietary trading point of view, running DigitalX's Bitcoin book, and then also supplying most of the major exchanges, even did the first institutional trade, been involved in that sort of Bitcoin marketplace for a few years, before moving with those revenues to establishing our own blockchain development team. That was based out of Boston in the USA. We had a team there led by our CTO, Mike Siegel, who's behind the world's first Bitcoin meetup in the world. So yeah, he's very well known in the ecosystem. He's managed the security for not only the Bitcoin that we had on our mining desk, but also the Bitcoin trading desk and the security for our blockchain development. So that team has performed pretty strongly, led to the development of some applications, including Air Pocket, which is what we all know about. But more recently, the company's been funded by Australia's top cryptocurrency company, Blockchain Global, and that's finally allowed the company to be sufficiently funded to enable us to use the network that we've established, use sort of the technical capabilities we have within the team to start providing corporate advisory services to ICOs. And as we know, that market for sort of raising funds for ICOs and new projects is very strong right now. So fantastic to be in there.
Yeah, as has been reflected by the share price. So I think the share price was down around 2 cents at one stage, and we touched 40 cents the other day. So it's been a fantastic run. And as you said, the ICO space didn't even exist 18 months ago. And here we are, DCC have already partnered with Power Ledger, Ether Party. There's more ICOs upcoming, so it's a very exciting space to be involved in.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, there's a situation now where DigitalX has been responsible for working with some of the top projects that have been out there. Obviously, we all know about Power Ledger and how successful that one's been. To be a small part of that was obviously very exciting. Ether Party has obviously created some significant partnerships with legal groups out there, and sort of furthering our establishment into Northern America with Vambex Group. So yeah, it's been very fortunate, the place we're in, and I can only see us sort of growing a lot further from here.
So DCC is trying to position itself as the premier blockchain exposure on the ASX, I guess. I'd definitely say that you guys have well earned that title. Do you want to talk about the relationship with Sam Lee, who's becoming a giant in this space, and even the relationship that he has with the NEM blockchain, which is a huge player out there throughout Asia as well? Yeah,
Sam Lee certainly is known as a visionary in the marketplace, not just in Australia, but also China. So yeah, being able to obviously be a friend of his since sort of 2014, and to now work together on the board of DigitalX is very exciting for me. The doors that he can open, the introductions he can make, really benefits DigitalX. And yeah, his relationships with all sort of the Asian blockchain, their foundations that he's helped establish in Australia. NEM is certainly something that he has introduced through DigitalX, and hopeful of establishing a great relationship with those guys. But yeah, it sort of further cements just our presence, not only in Australia and the US, obviously where our team is, but now into China, which is what we're seeing as one of the growing markets out there.
Yeah. I guess the next thing that I want to talk about is one of the reasons that the share price got so low at one point was people worried about money in the bank, but you guys are actually in the fortunate position of having crypto in the bank, so to speak, now, which is appreciated greatly in value. So we get a lot of questions from shareholders about what is the current net worth of DCC and what assets do you guys hold and how do you sell those off for cash flow? And do you want to talk about all that a little bit?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, the DigitalX has come certainly from a situation where funds were at a premium. So we counted every dollar that we had, and we needed to make sure that they were there for the 3 months coming. We're now in a situation where we're fully funded for a number of years on a roadmap, which is very strong. We have around 450 Bitcoins, which we are looking to hold for the long term. We've obviously been accumulating more than that recently with some of the corporate advisory work we've been involved in. The projects we work on, we like to obviously receive a fee in Bitcoin and Ethereum, for some direct work we do, but then we also want to keep some skin in the game. As you know, we're only working with the top projects, so to have exposure to that project, over the medium to long term is important. But I would say where DigitalX is making direct investment in the projects, expect us to hold those coins for long term. Where we receive those tokens as an advisory fee, I think it's our responsibility to convert those into cash once those companies, can see enough liquidity in their token for us to do so. So where we're looking at the moment is when there's more than $1 million a day in sort of turnover of those tokens, then we would reduce our exposure to those projects, so we can sort of build cash there, as well as accept our fee, and hopefully those projects by then have benefited from the network of DigitalX and the services we provided. So a bit of a win-win, and that we're never any negative impact on our projects from the tokens we receive. Yeah,
exactly. So you're not selling on market before it's had the chance to sort of expand a bit and influencing the price, and that obviously worked in your favour a lot with the projects that you've helped so far. You get paid in Power Ledger tokens. Power Ledger goes up in price. It's more money in the bank than traditional businesses that get paid dollars. So.
Exactly. We definitely want to support our businesses we work with, and now that we're fully funded, potentially we can actually take a longer term view with those tokens we receive. But DigitalX is not yet an investment company. We're a service providing company, so you should expect us to convert those tokens to cash over time.
Yeah. So I guess you touched on it at the start, mate. Air Pocket, that remittance app, was the focus of the company maybe last year, and that's certainly changed a little bit, but it's still absolutely on the radar. So can you talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, well, I think it's important to note that DigitalX still retains some strong technical capabilities. So we are providing corporate consulting services, obviously ICO, corporate advisory services, and the third one is we're building our own products from DigitalX perspective. So one of those products is Air Pocket. That was the focus of the business, and we obviously saw some better opportunities to leverage our team in the corporate advisory sense. But Air Pocket is still very much a real project, still not very much live on the app stores. And I do expect, based on the interest we've received, that shareholders should expect some very positive news on the Air Pocket development front. We have obviously guided the market that we won't be spending the marketing dollars internally, but we are looking at other partners to help us bring that project to life. We spent a lot of money, a lot of time, so it's important to me that we get that product monetized for DigitalX shareholders.
Yep. Absolutely. So that remittance market is still the primary function of cryptocurrency today, but there's so many other exciting industries that it's breaking into as we see.
Exactly. I mean, we developed the product for the remittance market with a view that once it has that data around it, we can use the smart contracting ability of blockchains to actually, provide their financial services to those individuals. So that's going to be more of a focus when you see Air Pocket come back into the marketplace.
Awesome. So looking forward, mate, obviously you'd love to be able to do more and more ICOs, high quality projects, really position DCC and DigitalX as that premium service for advising the best projects. Is that your vision going forward?
Yeah, definitely. We want to have a focus on the top quality projects rather than doing as many as we can, which is maybe where I see some of our competitors sitting. So happy with our niche in the marketplace. There is obviously some fantastic projects we've worked with, and we are getting recognition in the market. Lee, DigitalX, we are seeing that your projects are outperforming everything else. How do we get exposure to that? So, certainly the funds management industry is something I've got a lot of experience with. Our president, Neil Krishnan, responsible for a number of hedge funds in the US prior to joining DigitalX. So I think it's worthwhile using those capabilities to start providing some funds management capabilities to the market focused on the crypto industry. So be excited to bring that to the market 2018. And then, just growing the team, growing the presence of DigitalX in Western Australia so we can provide more of those corporate consulting services to the market. That's something that, hasn't utilised enough of our time so far because of, what an opportunity the corporate advisory service in ICOs is. But something I want to bring to market over 2018, the funds management, further consulting.
I think something that's become apparent this year is that there's actually very few people in Australia that can say they've been into crypto for a number of years now that everyone's sort of into it. Do you see that as a huge advantage, obviously, for DCC? And do you think Australia is sort of ahead of the adoption curve compared to the rest of the world?
Definitely, I think Australia's got a fantastic marketplace for growing our capabilities. Obviously, the Australian government has been fantastic as a supporter of crypto and blockchain in general. We've seen through ADCA, there's the Parliamentary Friends of the Blockchain. They've listened to the marketplace around the GST reforms. The industry is working with the regulators to establish the code of conduct for digital currency exchanges to give exchanges the ability to establish long-term commercial relationship with banks. So hopefully that's coming through around April. And then also to give consumers confidence that they can trust our digital currency exchanges, which has been an issue in the past. And Australia, we've got Austrade, for example, sponsoring events to take the top Australian businesses to major events like Consensus in New York, to China. We've got a number of delegations going across last year, and I expect the same this year. So yeah, for sure, we've got one of the best environments out there. And in terms of our capabilities, obviously, at a pure development level, probably China and Europe do lead the way. But only looking back last year at Consensus, the winning team of that hackathon was a team based out of Australia. So, we've got, we're definitely punching above our weight, that's for sure.
Oh, I agree. You see what Power Ledger, Horizon State, and some of the small Australian projects have achieved. It's massive on a global scale, so it's fantastic to be a part of. You said you touched on the over-the-counter trading, the stuff DCC used to do. Do you want to talk about the exchange that you're working on going forward and that sort of thing? Yeah,
so DigitalX provides corporate services on the crypto side. And that's one of the extensions of that is providing some of these consultant services to exchanges. So there's one that we're helping to establish that's in Western Australia. It'll be Western Australia's first and only digital currency exchange, I believe. So that will be the National Crypto Exchange, the NCX, expected to launch first quarter this year. Providing a lot of services to enable them to have the security they need to have to establish, their internal controls around adhering to the code of conduct and looking after their customers, and then providing some guidance on how they can get liquidity. DigitalX obviously would most likely be a market maker for the exchange, so customers go on, have a good experience to start with. You don't have the chicken or the egg. Do you get the buyer first or the seller? You're ready to go from the beginning. So yeah, looking to provide that. We'll certainly benefit on the upside if that exchange does well. And this exchange actually has global plans. So I think they're heading over to Singapore, Croatia maybe on the roadmap as well. So it's an interesting market to be involved on that retail exchange side. Happy to provide those consultancy services to groups like that.
Awesome. So, mate, in an ideal world, where do you see DCC maybe 12 months or even 5 years from now?
Yeah, that's something I'm pretty excited about. Obviously, establishing a much bigger presence in Western Australia. We're looking to establish a blockchain centre. That'll be out of either Perth or West Perth. Have a massive presence, not with just DigitalX, but other companies that share the same vision of us, of growing in a very compliant way, and obviously looking after our customers' best interests. But being recognised obviously as Australia's leading blockchain company by a number of fund managers globally has been a good start. But we really want to cement that position by establishing more services, not just on the ICO corporate side, but across the sort of full suite of the crypto marketplace.
Yeah, I think that's a good point. We've seen the blockchain stocks listed globally just go crazy. People are so hungry for that exposure, and there's actually very few companies that are genuinely doing things in the blockchain space other than putting crypto in their name for the share price to go up. So it's great to see.
Definitely. I mean, DigitalX, obviously DigitalX Limited, that name isn't changing, and I think we're going to let the returns that we generate actually speak for themselves, rather than sort of have a big focus on marketing or anything like that. We're very confident that we can deliver.
Awesome. Any final thoughts, mate? That's been great.
No, I just think that the roadmap ahead of us over the next 12 months, I've never seen it look more bullish. So really excited about the marketplace for not just crypto in Australia, but globally. And very fortunate to be in the position we are today.
Awesome. Thanks for chatting to me today, Lee.
Thanks, Nugget.
Cheers, Matt.
Cheers.